Alright, I didn't really think I'd have to make a video like this, and I technically don't have to because this is, well, something that a lot of people have already said. Multiple things here that I'm going to say are things that people have already said. Many people with much larger voices than mine, much larger audiences than mine. But I feel as though, for me, being someone who is personally affected with a lot of these situations, that I deserve a moment to speak, to give my own 2 cents on the situation. So, without any sort of a script, without any sort of rehearsing or anything, although multiple different takes, I will go ahead and start. So, if somehow you haven't seen this situation blow up on YouTube, on Twitter, or any other social media for that matter, what happened recently is ex-Viner Logan Paul, who, pardon me, who's been doing vlogs a lot, he ended up making a vlog where him and his friends had gone down to the suicide forest in Japan. Now, with that whole group together, what they ended up finding was a person who had recently hung themselves. Now, a lot of people thought that this was fake because he was really close to the ground, but it was actually confirmed to be real. What did Logan Paul do in this situation? He decided for some strange reason he was going to, jeez, voice cracks. He decided for some strange reason he was going to make multiple jokes about this person, about this poor suicide victim who had had a rough life and found no other solution than to end it all. Now, suicide is a huge problem over in Asia. A lot of people commit suicide for losing their job or getting bad grades in school. The suicide problem in Asia as a whole is worse than we could even imagine it here in the United States. So, this whole video could be easily described the same way that you could describe a lot of the jokes that he made. Heartless, tasteless. Hell, the fact that this video was even a video is heartless and tasteless. It should not have been uploaded, but he did it anyway. The worst part about it is that it was monetized. Eventually, though, with a lot of backlash on Twitter, and I'm actually surprised that there was a lot of backlash. I really didn't expect humanity to actually still have that much of a heart. With that much backlash, he ended up taking the video down. And he issued an apology at first on Twitter. This apology was absolutely awful, and he got reamed for it. Because it was one of the most ego-stroking, self-centered apologies that had ever been said by anybody ever. At least to my knowledge. But after getting absolutely destroyed by people on Twitter for how terrible of an apology that was, eventually he decided he was going to make a legitimate apology. This time on YouTube, where he didn't even bother stroking his own ego. He actually said his fans shouldn't even be defending his actions, that he was really sorry about what he did, that he does not expect to be forgiven, all that. Now, this is a marked improvement over his previous apology. However, I still don't believe that he's genuine. Given Logan's track record, I'm not exactly too confident in him being, actually genuine about half of what he says. I personally don't think he's apologetic at all for what he's done, although I do think a little more that he's actually apologetic about what he's done. But part of me still believes, for the most part, that he's only apologetic about the fact that he got caught. If he hadn't got caught, or if he hadn't got called out, I should say, it would probably still be there. Now, granted, I'm not the best judge of character. He probably could actually be apologetic about it, for all I know. He could very well be truly sorry. But the way that this situation was handled is absolutely abysmal. Something like this, I am surprised, even exists. I am surprised that something like this could even have happened. Well, okay, I really shouldn't be surprised because of the way that YouTube handled the whole really, really close to pedophilia thing that was going on recently. But what ended up happening was Logan Paul was the one that brought down that video because of being so apologetic. YouTube didn't do anything about it. Hell, it hit #1 in trending. I mean, of course, obviously because it's a Logan Paul video, but at the same time, he used that video, clickbaited the hell out of it, and made money off of it. And it reached #1 trending. Eventually, of course, it got deleted. But This is where a lot of controversy is drawn, because a lot of people, including me, we do much less terrible things here on the entire thing. Hell, for me, for example, sure, I swear a lot. I make a whole bunch of offensive jokes because I'm one of those people that's, one, an edgy shitlord, but also, I'm one of those kinds of people that actually doesn't want YouTube to become, child tube by any chance, I kind of want this place to be a little bit more diverse with the kinds of content that's available on it. But, anyways, that's not really anything that I'm at liberty to discuss. So, the big thing that I really want to bring up here is that a lot of people are getting their videos demonetized or even striked for basically not even half of the sheer amount of offensiveness that this video was. And that's where a lot of controversy comes from. And I can speak as someone who has also had a lot of my videos demonetized for maybe some of the stuff that I've said, maybe because I use copyrighted content. I don't really know at this point. But I will make mention of the fact that this is asinine. No, YouTube, I did not say what you think I just said. I said asinine, okay? Alright. Let's just get that clear. Anyways. So, a few days into the year after that, a lot of YouTubers were making videos. People from, Quentin Reviews to Pyrocynical and much further beyond. They were making videos calling out Logan Paul for his terrible actions. This is before his apologies, by the way. But they were calling him out for just how rotten he had to have been to do something like this. Now, here's one of the biggest issues. A lot of these people have actually had their videos taken down by YouTube and had strikes put on their channel. Pyrocynical even spoke about how this happened to him, simply because he made a video about Logan Paul and actually called him out. It's pretty clear what's going on here. YouTube wants to protect their biggest moneymakers, regardless of the controversy that they get themselves into. As long as they're making money, they don't want to step in and do anything about the terrible things that are going on here. It was proven earlier with a lot of the awful, awful stuff that was going on with the CSGO, the CSGO lottery sort of thing. Not CSGO Lotto itself, but some sort of CSGO gambling ring that, YouTube hardly did anything about that. It took the community to really call Timo Martin and his buddy out on that. With a lot of other controversies going around, including, of course, this whole demonetization thing, which YouTube still has nothing, it has done nothing about. The pedophilia thing that happened recently, which YouTube only did something about after so many people spoke about it, after the ISIS videos, after a whole bunch of different racial stuff was actually brought up, and the ad holders were, no, not ad holders, my apologies, the people that were putting up the ads, like, Coca-Cola and all of them, the companies that were putting up the ads, I should say, they withdrew because they were like, we do not want to support things like this. Sorry, Google, we cannot do this. Only when their profits are on the line will YouTube do anything. Or when the community makes enough of a fuss about it, I should say. And here I am adding to that fuss because something needs to be done, and YouTube is hardly doing anything. Well, anyways, fast forward a few days. Or I should say fast forward to today. And YouTube, just a moment ago, put out a series of tweets talking about this entire situation. Finally, they recognize it. But here's the terrible thing. I'll go ahead and read out each tweet in order. An open letter to our community. Many of you have been frustrated with our lack of communication recently. You're right to be. You deserve to know what's going on. Like many others, we were upset by the video that was shared last week. Suicide is not a joke, nor should it ever be a driving force for views. As Anna Akana put it perfectly, that body was a person someone loved. You do not walk into a suicide forest with a camera and claim mental health awareness. We expect more of the creators who build their community on YouTube, as we're sure you do too. The channel violated our community guidelines, we acted accordingly, and we are looking at further consequences. It's taken us a long time to respond, but we've been listening to everything you've been saying. We know that the actions of one creator can affect the entire community, so we'll have more to share soon on steps we're taking to ensure a video like this is never circulated again. I have not read a single apology, like, even compared to Logan Paul's, I have not read a single apology so full of shit in my entire life. And you know what? This is a perfect time for me to completely deconstruct and tear a new hole into the entire collective ass of the YouTube management, which is already glowing red at this point as it stands. But allow me to be the first to tear a hole here. So, many of you have been frustrated with lack of communication recently. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You're right to be. You deserve to know what's going on. Okay, how many times have they said we deserve to know what's going on? Because therein lies a huge issue already. With how many times they've said we deserve to know what's going on, they have done absolutely nothing. And they've had years to do this. They have done absolutely nothing to actually fix any of this. Like many others, we were upset by the video that we shared last week. No, you're upset because a lot of people are calling it out. Suicide is not a joke, nor should it ever be a driving force for views. Yeah, but your management team sure is a joke. And I'm not even going to bother talking about the quote because it's actually perfectly right. But anyways, we expect more of the creators who build their community on YouTube, as we're sure you do too. And we expect more out of you as a management company holding over this entire platform to actually do something about it when you are needed. But no. If it's something that's going to bother your wallets, you cannot be arsed to do anything about it. The channel violated our community guidelines, we acted accordingly. You did not act accordingly, fuck off! And we are looking at further consequences. If you had acted accordingly, you would have taken care of the situation far in advance from now. Let's be real here. Now, if you actually put a strike on Logan Paul's channel, that would be closer to acting accordingly than anything you've done within a year. And we are looking at further consequences. Please, for the love of God, take down his channel. He has done nothing but violate the guidelines and do all kinds of annoying clickbaity shit. You'd get on a whole lot of people's cases for things like, oh, misleading metadata, when they didn't even mislead the metadata, but he can do it just fine. Okay. It's taken us a long time to respond. Oh yeah, it sure fucking has! But we've been listening to everything you've been saying. We know that the actions of one creator can affect the entire community, so we'll have more to share soon on steps we're taking to ensure a video like this is never circulated again. Yeah. Quote unquote. Listening. Yeah. No. You haven't been listening to a goddamn word. Until just now. Now that we've made big enough of a fuss about it, now you decide to say something about the situation. Now, I've actually been basically completely going, I guess you can call it apeshit on Twitter recently because of this absolutely horrible response of YouTube's. This is unacceptable as a management company. This cannot be tolerated. When it comes to things that are much, much lesser, I have seen a lot of other companies that moderate these kinds of things and have done a much more effective job. YouTube has been slacking off when it comes to this sort of thing, and it's actually getting rather infuriating, for lack of a better word here, for this kind of a situation. Infuriating is pretty much the best that I can say about it. I am livid with how YouTube is handling the situation. The sheer lack of professionality, the sheer lack of, actually being on time with this kind of thing. This is horrible. I don't see how they can even think that how they handled it was accordingly. No, YouTube. You did not act accordingly. You are way too late to be doing anything about this right now. Granted, it's appreciated that you're supposedly doing something, but you need to be on top of these things. It doesn't matter if it's going to affect your wallet, because if you don't do something about it right now, it sure as shit is going to affect your wallet even harder in the future. Now, let's really take a moment to think about this for a second. This is a video where a dead person, a hanging body, is actually shown on camera. First thing that's already broken. Second thing that's already broken is just how disrespectful this video is. Violating, well, okay, I'm not sure if this is actually a community guideline violation in and of itself, but so many tasteless and heartless jokes made about suicide. Something that so many of us struggle with today. So many people struggle with something like, suicide, or even a little bit lesser than that, self-harm. Okay, that's not to say lesser in worth, that's to say lesser in what exactly is being done to the body. But that being said, I will go ahead and continue on with what I'm actually trying to say here. So, this is a video that makes jokes about all that. So many terrible jokes about that. And it's not only left up on YouTube, but it's allowed to make money from ad revenue. So many people completely eviscerate Logan Paul here by calling him out on just how terrible this is, how terrible of a decision it was to make in the first place, but further than that, just how terrible of a person he was for doing something like that. And their videos get taken down, and their channels get a strike added to them when nothing is done about, the video that's actually violating anything. The video that's actually doing something against the terms of service. Furthermore, there are many videos that don't even do anything that's not, ad friendly. There are so many videos out there that actually decide, hey, let's do something that's, good for all ages. Nope. They get demonetized. They're not allowed to have ads running on their videos. Why? Because apparently it's not completely advertiser friendly. Even though there's nothing about it that an advertiser would actually have a problem with. Now, I can't say I'm one of these people. Again, to show a little bit of self-awareness, I am someone that swears a lot. I swear a whole hell of a fucking lot. And I'm pretty sure that's going to get this video demonetized on its own. But that's only going to prove my point here. But this is a video, or no, what I do usually for content, I swear a lot. I understand that. And I also make a whole bunch of offensive jokes, whether they just be disgusting, raunchy, sometimes, charged with many different things from people's, ethnicity, sexuality, something like that. I'll do jokes about that just to be like, hey, we shouldn't be taking these kinds of things seriously, we should be having a little bit of fun, if we get uptight about everything, what's the point? But mainly, when I do jokes, it's usually just silly stuff. I don't really do offensive content that much anymore. But beyond that, I also use copyrighted content. Now, I can understand if I get demonetized simply because I'm using copyrighted content. I'm not allowed to run ads on that because it's content that I don't own. That's fair game. I don't mind. But I get demonetized and said that my video is not advertiser friendly. Is it because of the fact that I'm swearing? Because that was never an issue before. And I can assure you that that isn't an issue with a lot of these advertisers now. I mean, PewDiePie did it a lot. Then again, granted, he did drop the N-word, and then, that was a huge scandal from then onward. And now, even though he still has the most subscribers out of anybody on YouTube, he's not the golden boy anymore. Obviously, it's the Paul brothers who are infinitely worse in every regard. But I can do videos that are, that may contain slightly offensive jokes, something slightly risque, and I still get demonetized even though what I've done is not even close to as bad as what Logan Paul has done here today. Not even today, what Logan Paul has done so far this year. It's really weird how a guy like me can get demonetized for maybe swearing a few times, maybe making a slightly offensive joke that's really not even that bad. And I get demonetized for it for some reason or another. And, okay, I'm not even going to pretend that I don't understand the reason. This is because of the fact that I'm someone who, I do these kinds of things a fair deal. And Okay, now I'm pretty much just talking in circles at this point, I come to realize. But, okay, let me just try to get back on point. I do a lot of terrible things sometimes in my videos just for fun. And it's not like it really hurts anybody that bad. But I don't joke about people that commit suicide, considering I'm somebody that already has that problem. But I get demonetized for doing something far less than what Logan Paul did, but he gets to keep ad revenue on his video until, of course, he takes it down, and then people re-upload it. That shit gets monetized and gets to, like, I don't know, as high up as number 2, I think, on trending. But then there's a whole bunch of other people that have done even less than I do. And these are some of the people that make some of the most advertiser-friendly content I've ever seen. And they still get struck down just because. The entire system is broken, and YouTube has done nothing to fix it. The biggest problem that I'm seeing here is that YouTube, once again, is being incredibly vague and cryptic with the actual problem at hand here. They're not being fully transparent. They do not want you to actually really know what the problem is. They don't want to actually work with people that, hey, maybe they are a little bit on the edgier side, but they have good hearts and they actually, know what's good for this platform. They don't want to work with those kinds of people. They don't want to actually listen to their community because, hey, they're the big $1 million execs, they're the ones that know what the hell they're doing, obviously, even though they're the ones running this fucking platform into the goddamn ground. But one guy decides, let's literally upload a video of a dead body. Even though that is strictly forbidden. Let's literally just do that. For money, even. Why not? And he's fine. He's protected. He's the golden boy. Only now does YouTube take the time to speak out even remotely about the situation. It's actually really depressing, honestly. The fact that YouTube apparently thinks that this sort of behavior of them is okay. No. We cannot just sit here and say, you know what? This apology from them, it's fine. No, it's not fine. This is them, once again, deflecting the issue. Completely pretending to ignore what the actual problem is with their system. Ignoring the fact that there even is a problem with their system to begin with. They may say, oh, we recognize that there is a bit of an issue and we're going to do something to fix it. They never fucking do. They just continue to make it worse. They don't actually fix the problem at hand. They just make everything worse for everyone else. That's how they've always done it. If you're not somebody that's, big and making a lot of money for them, you can fuck right the hell off. They don't care about you. They only care about the money. What YouTube has done as a whole in response to this sort of absolutely god-awful situation is beyond words with how bad it is. Beyond words with just how despicable their response is. I don't think anybody there that is actually currently managing YouTube and is allowing this to go on should keep their jobs. Susan Wojcicki, get her right the hell out of the CEO position right the hell now. Get somebody there that knows what they're doing. I don't care what gender they are for anyone that's going to make the claim that, oh, you just don't like her because she's a girl. No, it's not because she's a girl. I don't like her because she's not a competent individual. She doesn't know what she's doing. That's the problem. And the person that's running the YouTube or the team YouTube or even the YouTube creators' Twitter accounts, yeah, get them the fuck out because, well, okay, actually, to be completely honest, they are just doing their job, I guess, and that was probably the best they could do, but either which way, whoever told them to do that, get them out. Anybody who is running this system and has made half of the decisions that have been going on in the recent year, just get them out, okay? YouTube has been run into the ground hard by a bunch of people that really don't understand how to run a business. And granted, Susan Wojcicki was probably put in her position because she's more about business than, actually making videos. But she's not a good business person either. She's not good at any part of her job, and she needs to get out. This entire situation has got me a bit riled up, and I really cannot stand to see this platform, which I've grown up with, to be mishandled in such a way, to be basically shat upon by new management that doesn't really care about this platform and only cares about the money that they can make off of it. Well, to any of you that may actually be listening, to any of you that are actually running YouTube, let me make this clear, because apparently you guys don't have the mental capacity to figure this out for yourselves. When it comes to one of these kinds of situations, pardon me for the lack of grammar there, when it comes to one of these kinds of situations, you can't just sit with your thumbs up your ass. You have to take charge here. You have to be responsible for these kinds of things. And yes, I understand. Logan Paul generates a lot of money for the platform. He generates a lot of ad revenue because a lot of people watch him. Well, when I say a lot of people, I kind of almost refuse to call them people because they really don't seem like they have any more than 5 neurons working in their brain at one given time. But anyways, despite, well, that low IQ. Anyway, let me just make this clear that if you don't act upon a controversial situation like this, the moment it becomes bad, the moment it becomes a huge problem, just because you're still able to make money from it, and when you're done being able to make money off of it, you're going to try to do something about it, that is only going to hurt you worse in the long run. People will be more willing to support a platform that is transparent with everybody involved. The advertisers, the community, the content creators, everybody. If you are more transparent with them, more proactive in managing them, more, how do I put this, more actually able to give a shit about anything that's going on there, able to give a shit about something other than the money that it's generating, people will be more willing to support the platform. There will be more companies willing to support a platform that's actually fair and honest, at least for the most part. Let's not, bring in any sort of corporate greed for like, oh, you should run our ad more than anybody else's, that sort of thing. But when you're being this terrible of a company, you're not going to get that much support. So, YouTube, all the people that are managing this platform, I beg of you to actually start giving a shit for once. To not just half-ass your handling of these issues. To put your whole ass into it and actually fix these things. Because, if anything, this platform has been nothing more than a train wreck since you guys took over. Whoever was running it in the past before Google bought it, in fact, when Google first bought it even, it was fine. It was fine. I don't really have much more to say at this point, but when this video goes live, I'm not even going to bother trying to put money on something like this, because I don't want to make money off of controversy. I want to make money off of actual content. And for those of you that are sitting at home who don't really know too much about people on YouTube, just please listen when I say that we're not all like this. Not all of us are this terrible, and not all of us are going to stand for how terrible this company is being run. Please. Just make sure you understand that completely. Well, I can't really say much more on the situation, so this has been Cerberus of Helldog Spawn Gaming, soon to be Helldog Spawn Entertainment instead, and I will be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, and just try to have as good of a day as possible, because I sure as hell am not. Peace out, everybody, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.